Hello world! Thank you for being here. My name is Marielle, and I hope you're having a great day. And if you're not, well, everything is gonna be okay because you are in control. Today we're going to be creating a mixed media painting together using calligraphy, acrylic paint, and crochet. So let's get into it. Now the first thing you're going to see me do on this table is the first thing that you're going to do in yourself, in your mindset, your psyche, your soul, is make space. You have to allow yourself to want to be happy. And while I know this may sound simplistic, I also know what it is to be so concentrated on the wants and needs of others that you overlook your own needs and desires. I know how it feels to be so accustomed to tuning into their energy that you hardly know how to want things for yourself. Let alone the inner argument of whether you are worthy of those things, but you are worthy. And you are not bad, selfish, or self-centered to want things. I'm here to tell you that. So first, let go of anything that hinders you from wanting happiness or sabotaging it for yourself. Make space for this project in your soul the way I'm clearing this table of all obstacles. And remember that you're worthy. If necessity is the father of invention, then desire is the mother of action. Now I know this is easier said than done, but it can be done, and it gets easier with practice, especially after you acknowledge that you want and deserve to be happy. Moving right along with our metaphor here, the next thing we're going to do is to identify the things that make you happy. I once had a communications professor in college who was an actor by trade. He had never taught at a university before, and his motto for life was something like, "I end up wherever I end up." He also never came to class with a plan, and he used to pepper his lessons with words of wisdom for us students, which I appreciated because some of them stuck with me, like, pay attention to what the things are that tap you on the shoulder in this life, the ones that keep coming back to you and whisper in your ear. Those are the things you are probably meant to devote your attention to that will lead to your life's purpose. I paraphrase slightly because this was several years ago, but the message stayed with me and proved to be very helpful long after I graduated. This can also be harder to do than we think, so let's look at this from an artistic perspective as well. The mediums I most prefer working with are crochet, acrylic paint, graphite, and ink. I know this because I've tried other mediums like watercolors, knitting, pastels, charcoal, and while they're all respectable crafts in their own right, I generally can't be bothered with them or they frustrate me. It's okay to know where your weaknesses are, because then you can play to your strengths. The things that excite you, move you to action, or never really go away because they never stop being a part of you, are there for a reason. Don't neglect them. Use them to your advantage and be creative. Combine them in ways that work for you, that express your identity, just like mixed media I meant to say, don't be afraid to fine-tune yourself in this way. Forgive me if the audio is not perfect. This is my first YouTube video. But the whole point was that mixed media pieces are often the most expressive, relatable, and valuable, and there's only one you. At this point, you've come a good way, and there's nowhere to go but through. So take accountability for your own happiness and trust the process, because no one is going to finish this process for you. It is no one else's responsibility to make you happy but you. If I give up on this piece right here, I can't expect anyone to pick up where I left off and complete it. The vision of its completion is in my head. Placing the onus on someone else to make you happy is like handing your unfinished piece to someone and saying, "Finish it like it is in my head." You won't be able to find a soul on earth who could do this the way you could. No one is going to paint this canvas for me the way I can. Once you get going, you build momentum, and being happy becomes easier and easier. Oftentimes, you just have to throw yourself in and start, whether or not you feel fully ready. So start small. Give yourself easy, manageable accomplishments. Try new things that hit the threshold of your comfort zone. Make small changes in your daily life, like diet, scenery, home decor, exercise, all while focusing on those things you identified in the previous step, the things that make you happy, that tap you on the shoulder. Though I've never made a piece like this before, I started by painting the canvas red. That is not a hard task, and anyone can do it. I know I'm capable of at least that. Your momentum will foster even more motivation, and soon you will be rolling into the finish line without fearing the result. As with most things in life, it's more about the journey than the destination, and since none of us has been to the future before, don't stress about making a mistake that may not even happen. Just start somewhere small, somewhere manageable, somewhere only slightly uncomfortable, and don't be too attached to your idea of what the outcome should be. Your progress in seeking joy will snowball from here. I promise. Unintentional ASMR. It is time for the laying of the snowflakes. Now that you've used the things that you identified as what makes you happy, you've taken action on those things, we're going to talk about long-term maintenance, and that would be positive thinking. The best way to practice being happy and maintain that happiness and make sure that it doesn't leave you is to constantly rewire your thinking to be that of positive thoughts. Reframe how you see negative things that happen in your life, and concentrate and take yourself back to always those things that make you happy. I did make these snowflakes way back in early winter. It is now late spring, early summer. But as you can see, I think it was worth the time and effort, and I think you'll find that doing the long-term work to keep yourself happy is so very worth the long-term effort it takes. Speaking of effort, though I may have used one or more of these patterns more than once in an effort to fill in space, I made sure that I only used different types of thread for each of these snowflakes so that each one of them is individual. And I really wanted that to be a central focus and theme of this project because everyone's road to happiness, everyone's journey is different from one another's, and yours is going to be completely different from everyone else's. So just keep that in mind and be patient with yourself as you go, because just like snowflakes, people are individuals and everyone has something different that makes them happy. To further expand on our snowflake metaphor, I wanted to bring to your attention a book that I find really fascinating. It's not very hard to read or very long, called The Hidden Messages in Water by Masaru Emoto, who is a Japanese scientist that conducted a study on the effects of positivity and negativity on water, and subsequently, obviously, the frozen form of water, which is snowflakes. He found and was able to photograph and prove that water that had been subjected to positive vibrations versus negative vibrations formulated snowflakes when frozen that were more symmetrical, more beautiful, more aesthetically pleasing versus snowflakes that were exposed to negativity and negative vibrations, which became deformed. The obvious conclusion to be made from this, then, is if the human body is made up of mostly water, then what kind of effect does negative thinking, negative vibrations, and negative speech have on our bodies, physically, mentally, and emotionally? So just to recap on everything we covered and glue this in your mind, pun intended, we are, for starters, making space in our mind, our soul, our mindset, our lives for the eventual progress toward happiness that we're going to be making. We are identifying the things that make us happy by paying attention to the things in life that tap us on the shoulder, that have remained unique to us throughout our life. We're taking action on those things in small steps, manageable ways that we're not afraid to start, and then that will build momentum as we go. And then finally, we're going to maintain with positive thinking and keep moving forward with the ambition that you are worthy, you deserve happiness, and no one has the right to take that away from you. And if you've made it this far with me, I'd like to congratulate you and ask you to pat yourself on the back for practicing energy alchemy and consciously choosing to turn your darkness to light.